This is the silver 1 month overview reading for the month of June 2024. It's currently May 21st, 2024, 12:51 p.m. Eastern Time. Spot price of an ounce of silver at the time of this reading is $31.83 USD. I actually advised my family to lighten up. They're selling half of their silver position at these price levels. And then the June silver reading was created on May 2nd, 2024 at 10:31 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a video playing for you in the lower left corner. The overall theme and behavior for silver in June, we have a period of sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and it's crossed with the completion of a rally. And generally when you see the completion card, it's like a rally that starts out like this and kind of like turns over like a round kind of crest. Rather than a peak, it's usually a crest, in other words. Behavior around the highest high or highs for the month, we have a notable rally into the high, offering opportunity to open up a short position or close a long position. It looks like we have correlation to the theme card there as well. So what we'll see is a period of sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher, taking us into the high. Behavior around the lowest low or lows for the month of June, we have a period of erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. In the midst of that erratic behavior, we'll revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. Occasionally it's a trough that was a past opportunity, but usually it's a crest. Now I'm going to get into the day-by-day chart behavior as well as timing the highs and the lows and the best trade opportunities. All of that in just one moment, but before I do that, I want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get back into it. On the first, we have a lot of volatility. There's a day trade opportunity that I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version, and we most likely have our lowest low, acting as our lowest low, at least for a little bit at the beginning of the month here. There's a sharp drop that'll stand out on a multi-day scale that takes place about midway through the day. And then on the second, we have another trade opportunity. There's an important price level on a one-year chart scale that's highlighted there, important technical price level. And it looks like we probably return, we fall from that price level and then return to it in not too distant future, maybe on the third or the fourth. On the third, we have a period of sideways rotation and then a big move higher followed by more sideways rotation at a higher price level. And we have a prominent peak there on the third. That's probably our highest high thus far. On the fourth, an important price level that we rally into and then we decline out of. It may very well be the same price level as the second. It looks like it's the same price level as the second. On the fifth, another notable move that'll stand out on a 1 month scale. There's a prominent peak on the 1 month scale on the fifth and on the sixth. It's pretty mixed there on the 5th and the 6th. We have a prominent trough on the 6th when we decline to revisit a support level we recently met once before. But there's also a possibility of a highest high there on the cusp of the 6th, 7th, or maybe on the 7th. So a rally, we probably do sideways rotation at that trough on the 6th, and then a big move out of that sideways rotation, taking us into a peak or crest on the cusp of the 6th, 7th, or in the morning on the 7th. And then that rally is halted by a decline through key support on the 7th. On the 8th, we see a notable reversal that will really stand out on a multi-day scale. A decline on the 9th, offering trade opportunity. I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. There's a prominent trough there on the 9th, and then on the 10th, we most likely revisit our highest highs for the month. The Ace of Discs indicating a lot of price change. There's a correlation there to both the high card and to the completion card, which is the completion of a rally. So probably a lot of price change to the downside off of a high there on the 10th. A lot of price change to the downside, turning into pretty volatile behavior on the 11th. Volatile behavior ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then on the 12th, we have sideways rotation, again, that ends with a fast sudden move higher and a prominent peak or crest on a 1 month scale. On the cusp of the 12th, 13th, we have another prominent trough, and then on the 13th, another prominent peak. So there's some back and forth behavior going on here. I'm advised to be cautious on the 13th, some sort of tricky chart behavior that will make it, it might create some sort of impulse to do the wrong thing. So be very, very cautious trading there. Overall should be bullish into possibly a high there on the 13th. It's possible, it's not as strong of a possibility as the 6th, 7th, and the 10th, but there is some possibility of a highest high there on the 13th as well. On the 14th, we have an important range that's highlighted on a multi-day scale. And it looks like we're bound within a range. It's not the upper end or the bottom end of a range. We're bound within a range on the 14th. On the 15th, we have a lowest low. That'll be a lowest low thus far. And we have a big move to the upside out of that lowest low there on the 15th, pushing the upper end of a range higher. We have a prominent peak at the beginning of the day on the 16th. And we decline pretty notably into a prominent trough there on the 16th. It might be another lowest low there on the 16th. There is some possibility. It's not as strong as the 16th or it's not as strong as the 15th or the 18th. But there is some possibility of a lowest low here as well. Trade opportunity at the end of the day there on the 16th as well. Now we don't normally at this point in the reading, I'll review the prior month's reading, but this is a custom reading. It's not, silver's not a monthly reading that we cover every month. So we don't have a prior monthly to look at, but we can look at the 1 year. The silver 1 year was created September 24th, 2023 at 11:14 p.m. Eastern Time. And we have a highest high here at the end of May, and you can see here, we have a highest high in May. We also had a highest high in March, a highest high thus far in February, a highest high thus far in March. And then we have this highest high while the decline off of the April high offered opportunity to open up a long position as indicated by the Ace of Cups. And we have this big move into a May high, which forms when out of a decline, we have a big move higher, fast move higher, marking the end of that decline. So this is extremely accurate, guys. This is extremely accurate. This is why I'm instructing my family to reduce their silver position. They're reducing it by half here because I expect some sort of dip here between now and the next high. But in any case, this is an extremely valuable reading, guys, and this was done almost 6 months in advance of 2024. The trades here have been really solid. The February low is the Ace of Swords, indicating we would decline from it and then return to it. And you can see decline from it and then return to it. That would have been a solid trade. If you're interested in the paid version, it's a really great way to support the channel. What you get in the paid version is information you won't find anywhere else, as far as highest highs, lowest lows, what type of chart behavior to look for as far as entry and exit into and out of the general timing of those highs and lows. And then price level information whenever we're able to extrapolate that as well. All of that in the paid version, well ahead of the market. We're running roughly a 95% accuracy right now, guys, 95% accuracy. So with that said, you get the paid version here under hover over our services on our website, tarotfortraders.com, click on Asometa Posts, scroll down to monthly subscription, click here to order. You can subscribe to just Google or any of these tickers individually, or you can subscribe and get the paid version of all of them for the all paid monthlies of predictions. It also gives you access to the one-offs when people order custom monthlies. You get access to those as well, and there's usually at least a couple of customs every month. So thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that. Really great way, again, to support the channel and show your appreciation. And you guys are really the core foundation of support for the channel. Not to mention, it's also the most popular subscription on the channel. All right, guys, let's get back into it. All right, on the 17th, we have multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance. And then we have on the 18th, the death card indicating another important low or trough on a multi-day scale there. This is very likely a lowest low. And you can see the cross-shooting congruency here on the 19th puts us in the early part, in the sequence of chart events on the 1 year, puts us in the early part of July already. But there's the indications of a lowest low here on the 18th, and then we rally out of that low on the 18th into the 19th along a diagonal trend line. That rally ends with a fast sudden move higher and a breakout, like a false breakout to a prominent peak or crest on a midday on the 19th. That false breakout then turns into a breakdown through the diagonal trend line that we were just rallying along, increasing with volatility on the way down. On the 20th, we have an important resistance level on a multi-day scale that's highlighted. And generally, when you see the Princess of Swords, it's an indication that we'll fall from that resistance and then return to it in the not too distant future. Looks like probably on the 21st, we return to it with a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. I'm going to talk about how to trade this stuff in the paid version in just a few minutes. There's a trade opportunity on the cusp of the 21st, 22nd, and then a notable decline. There should be a really notable decline on a multi-day scale that's highlighted here on the 22nd, taking us to an important support level on the 23rd. The support level is important on a 1 year chart scale. And generally speaking, when you see the Emperor card, it indicates opportunity, or it indicates like a support level that can be relied upon, like a stable foundation of support. And then on the 24th, we have sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow. There's also a prominent peak there as well. There's a day trade opportunity on the 24th, indicating that there's quite a lot of price change there, and probably overall bearish after meeting this peak here. On the 25th, we have an intentional fake out or shakeout, some sort of tricky chart behavior that's intended to falsely trigger an indicator, or something. It's intended to make us do the wrong thing, so be very, very careful. On the 25th, rally towards the end of the day commences into the 26th, where we're bumping along resistance sideways, and there's a prominent peak on a 1 month scale. On the 27th, we rally into another prominent peak on a 1 month scale at key resistance, and then we decline from that resistance with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down into the 28th, where we have a pop and drop with a peak in the middle. The day's high there for the 28th should be just after the middle part of the day. We have a pop and drop, and then notable decline off of the drop, like the drop probably continues past the full retracement into the 29th, and then on the 29th, there is some possibility of another low over here. It is possible. Hard to say, but there might be another low, or there's some sort of important trough here. On the 29th, there's a period of volatility and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of volatility. We also have a prominent peak here on the cusp of the 28th, 29th. On the 30th, an important price level, or important resistance level on a multi-day scale highlighted. And generally, when we meet that resistance, we flatten out, moving sideways. The sneak preview for July, a notable rally to the upside and another important peak on a 1 year chart scale there taking place in July. When we look at the 1 year, we've got indications of a highest high here in July as well. That's silver for June 2024. Just to recap, so it looks like we most likely have highest high somewhere between the 6th, 7th, and again around the 9th, 10th. Some possibility again on the 13th, but not nearly as likely as the first two locations. And then we have a lowest low thus far on the 15th, probably a lowest low, an even lower one on the 16th, and our lowest low for the month of June, most likely here on the 18th. That's silver for June 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go, you know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I will see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.